The world of Danmachi is vast, centered around the bustling city of Aurario. At its heart stands Babel, a towering structure built directly atop the dungeon. Its primary purpose is to contain the monsters from the upper floors, preventing them from escaping to the surface and wreaking havoc on the world above. The dungeon itself is shrouded in mystery. No one knows its true size, as it has yet to be fully conquered. What we do know is that some of its floors are so immense, they rival entire cities in the world above. Around 1,000 years ago, the gods began their descent to this world. One of the gods that descended to this world was Ouranos. Ouranos formed the guild built atop the dungeon and has an underground room called the Prayer Room, which Ouranos uses as his main room. Adventurers go inside the dungeon to kill monsters and obtain magic stones from those monsters, which they can then sell to the guild for money. Higher level adventurers can also craft a map of the dungeon, which they can sell to the guild. The guild uses this information to teach new adventurers and advise them on the threats of the dungeon. Each of the guild staff members goes on to become an advisor for adventurers, guiding them on how to plan and which level they should proceed to. Aina was the advisor to Bel. Another god that descended into this world is Hestia. Like other gods, she was supposed to create a familia. However, for the longest time, she struggled with this, as no one wanted to join her familia due to her poverty. On the other side, there was Cranel, who wanted to be an adventurer. Like Hestia, he struggled to find a familia that would accept him because of his low level. The story begins when these two individuals meet, and the Hestia Familia is formed. Following an event where a member of the Loki Familia, named Wallenstein, saves Bel's life from a monster, Bel begins to gain admiration for her. Bel also gains a spell called Liaris Freese, which enables rapid growth as long as he remains in love with Aiz. Aiz Wallenstein is a member of the Loki Familia, one of the strongest familias in the world. Each familia in the world must have a captain to lead the team once they reach a certain floor in the dungeon. The captain of the Loki Familia is Deimne, a master strategist, the best in all of Aurario. The vice captain is Reveria, a 99-year-old elf who has achieved more than 50 floors up to this moment. The familia also includes Gareth, a dwarf and a top executive, who has the same level as Reveria. These three members of the Loki Familia are the backbone of the familia, and all important missions depend on the presence of these three. Moving down, we see the twins Tione and Tiona, two Amazonesses who form the spear of the familia. Tione appears to be in love with the captain of the familia, although the captain doesn't seem to have noticed for now. As for Bete, before he became a member of the Loki Familia, he was the captain of the Vidar Familia. Moving down, we encounter Lefiya, an apprentice of Reveria. Lefiya is known as the Thousand Elf for her ability to use any and every type of elf magic. Lefiya admires us deeply, but Aiz remains oblivious to everything for now. During the War Games with the Apollo Familia, a few members who had previously traveled with Bel joined the Hestia Familia to help with the event. These individuals are Liliruca Arde, Welf Krazo, and Yamato Mikoto. Lili had a rough start to her relationship with Bel. As she initially attempted to steal his knife during an expedition she was supposed to assist with. Eventually, things improved, and now she deeply cares for Bel. Lili originally came from the Soma Familia, led by Soma, a god known for his exceptional alcoholic drinks. The captain of the Soma Familia is Xanis, while an enforcer in the Familia is Canu. Wealth, on the other hand, comes from the Hestia Familia, led by the goddess Hephaestus, the greatest blacksmith in the world. The captain of the Hephaestus Familia is Tsubaki. Meanwhile, Yamato Mikoto came from the Takamikazuchi Familia, a group focused on building strong warriors. The captain of the Takamikazuchi Familia is Okea, and one of the enforcers is Shigusa. Shigusa seems to be in love with Alko, and the feeling appears to be mutual, though neither of them realizes it yet. On the other side, the Apollo Familia consisted of the god Apollo, who values beauty in individuals, which is why he set his sights on Bel. The captain of the Familia is Hyacinthos, while the enforcers are Lissos, Daphne, and Cassandra. However, following their defeat in the War Games, Apollo was banished from Orario. Daphne and Cassandra remained and later joined the Miach Familia. The Miach Familia is led by the god Miach, who specializes in medicine. The captain of the Miach Familia is Nyaza, who has left a strong impression on her god. There is also a girl named Seer, who works at the Hostess of Fertility cafe, run by Maman Miach. Sir appears to be in love with Bel, as even from the start of his dungeon journey, she would prepare food for him each morning. It eventually reached a point where the highlight of her day was chatting with Bel, and over time, she fell in love with him. In the cafe, her co-workers include Lunoir Faust, Chloe Rollo, and Anya Frommel. Rayu Lion also works at the Hostess of Fertility, but we won't focus on her for now, as there might be a better placement for her. Yamato Mikoto had a childhood friend named Haruhime, who was abused in the Ishtar Familia. The Ishtar Familia was led by the goddess Ishtar, with their captain being Frin. Samira, along with Lena, were executives of the Familia. There was also Aisha, who treated Haruhime like her little sister. The Ishtar Familia was disbanded following their defeat at the hands of the Hestia Familia, and their goddess, Ishtar, was sent back to heaven by Freya, the goddess of love. Before we move on to discuss the Freya Familia, let's take a look at the Hermes Familia. The Hermes Familia is led by the god Hermes, with their captain being a spy. The executives include Falger, Lulun, and the newest member, Aisha, who joined following the disbandment of the Ishtar Familia. Now we come to one of the most powerful familias in Orario, the Freya Familia, led by the goddess of love, Freya. Freya is in love with Bel and would do anything to have him, even if it meant making the entire city of Orario her enemy. It appears that Freya's affection for Bel stems from his transparent soul. Freya has the ability to see the colors of human souls, and Bel's soul was the first she had ever seen that stood out so uniquely. The captain of the Freya Familia is Ottar, the strongest adventurer of the current era. Alan is an executive of the Freya Familia, and like all other members, he is devoted to Freya. Alan is also the brother of Anya, who works at the Hostess of Fertility. Another executive is Hogni, who was the king of the Black Elves on Jadmingavig Island. Over time, Hogni began to open up to Bel, particularly after participating in the group's training sessions. Like the rest of the Familia, Hogni is deeply loyal to Freya. Hedin is the former king of the White Elves on Jadmingavig Island. He spent time training Bel to become both a gentleman and a powerful warrior. Bel respects Hedin greatly and refers to him as master when addressing him. Finally, we have the Gulliver Brothers, who all look identical. Like the other members of the Freya Familia, they are also deeply devoted to Freya. One last member of the Freya Familia is Horn, whom Freya took in when she was just a child. Horn loves Freya deeply and is the only adventurer in the Familia who has not yet been given a name. Sir from the Hostess of Fertility also has a connection with Freya. although we won't disclose it here to avoid spoilers. However, there is a beautiful story that ties the two together. Later on, Ryu Lion, one of the strongest members of the disbanded Hestia Familia, joined the Hestia Familia to assist them in a difficult battle ahead. Sir and Ryu are best friends, and it was Sir who saved Ryu from her descent into depression after the Hestia Familia perished in their battle against the black monster of the dungeon. The Hestia Familia was led by the goddess of justice, Astrea. The Hestia Familia primarily acted as adventurer guards who protected the city of Reveria and enforced its law. The captain of the Familia was Elise Level, who was level 4 at the time. The main executives included Kaguya, Lizzie, and Raiwu. Some time ago, before the Freya Familia and the Loki Familia became the two strongest Familia, there existed two even stronger Familias, the Zeus and the Hera Familia. Materia, a member of the Hera Familia, is the mother of Belle Cranel. She had an older sister named Althea, who was also part of the same Familia. Althea was a level 7 adventurer, a level that only a select few have ever achieved. On the other side, the Zeus Familia was said to have had a level 8 adventurer, a feat almost unheard of. It is even rumored that there once existed a level 9 adventurer, a hero who appears only once in hundreds or even thousands of years. For hundreds of years, the Zeus Familia and the Hera Familia were the two strongest Familias. It is said that Belle Cranel's father was a member of the Zeus Familia. There are stories that even the weakest member of the Zeus Familia once managed to pinch Ottar, who was level 3 at the time. The god Zeus himself took care of Belle Cranel following the downfall of his mother and father during their fight against the one-eyed black dragon.